Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be reporting media acceleration and information glut. But before I start, let me introduce myself first. By the way, I'm Angeline Labador from BSF 2E. So let's start. For almost as long as there has been recorded information, there has been a perception that humanity has been overloaded by it. Concerns about too much to read had been expressed for many centuries and made more urgent since the arrival of ubiquitous digital information in the late 20th century. The historical perspective is a necessary corrective to the often and wrongly held view that is associated solely with the modern digital information environment and with social media in particular. However, a society fully experienced Florida's Fourth Revolution and moves into hyperhistory with society dependent on and defined by information and communication technologies and ecosophere. Information environment distinguished by a seamless blend on online and offline information activity individuals and societies are dependent on and formed by information in a unprecedented way, information overload needs to be taken more seriously than ever. More precisely, information overload can be seen as a situation which arises when an individual's efficiency and effectiveness in using information, whether for their work, studies, citizenship, or life generally, is hampered with the amount of relevant and potential useful information available to them. The article considers the historical perspective. Since overload has been experienced and lamented over a very long period, this should help place 21st century ideas information overload into context. Since overload is often and wrongly held to be associated solely with the modern digital information environment and with social media in particular. Information overload takes place when people encounter more information than they can process. Too much information on social media can quickly cross users' cognitive limits in processing news and can make them feel overwhelmed and overloaded. What do you mean by information overload? Information overload describes the excess of information available to a person aiming to complete a task or make decision. This impedes the decision being made. This is particularly silent because people may experience stress due to information overload. History of overload. The history of concept of information overload has been discussed by a number of writers, particularly detailed and scholarly treatment, not confined to be Western context, being provided by Blair 2003-2010 and by the contributors to a special issue of the Journal of the History of Ideas, Rosenberg 2003. See also Glut 2011, Neil 1992, and Bodin and Robinson 2009. The concept through not the praise is usually taken as originating at the end of the 19th century, with George Simmel, a German sociologist and philosopher, being the first to analyze, in modern terms, Clapp 1986, Savalainen 2007, but its roots can be traced much further back. The notion of information overload appears everywhere in our popular media as a characterization of something special and emblematic of era of life in the time of cell phones and wave browsers and fax machines and innumerable other information appliances. It is modern sense began to be recognized with the communications revolution of 19th century, with the steam power press multiplying the volume of material available, the widespread adaptation of newspaper and magazine, learn journals, textbooks, and other formats. Effects on health. One of the concerns which began to express from 1980s onward was the information overload could directly damage mental and physical health. The idea of information anxiety was introduced by Werman in 1989 for later treatment say Werman, Gerard, and Allison, and Hartod. It is condition of stress caused by worries about the ability to find, access, understand, or use necessary information. It is related to pathologies such as technological anxiety, computer anxiety, library anxiety, and techno stress, but is focused on information itself rather than the technology by which of the environment within which the information is accessed. Hartog 2017. Overload is not the sole cause, but is the major contributor. Anxiety in handling information is closely related to uncertainty. The problem may therefore not be the volume of information, but rather the extent of novel information, which cannot easily understood or related to what is already known. Lastly, forgetting and destroying. We have shifted from the problem of what to save to the problem of what to erase. Something must be deleted or never recorded in the first place. One way of dealing with surfeit of information is to forget it or destroy it. Like so many ideas relating to overload, this is not a new idea. In the 18th century, luminaries such Samuel Johnson and Edward Gibbon were contemplating the destruction of books to some degree a good thing. U 2003. That's all. Thank you.